Stealing education. That is something that you don't hear a lot of times, which is very interesting at this point right now, because I'm just like, what should be the penalty for someone saying that I want to steal education? Well, as you all know, that there's a lot of things going around in the news right now. I think her name is Laura London. Let me verify it's a Laura London. Let me verify. Y'all know how y'all is. Laura Loughlin, or whatever the case may be. She got 2 months and the choice of her prison. As you know in the news that LeBron James has been very vocal about this. Meek Mills has been very vocal about this. And a lot of times we be like, hey, celebrities, athletes, yeah, y'all stay out of our business. We're going to handle our own business. But for this one, I think they kind of got it right. I think it's great that they bring to their platform this type of information, because if you don't put two and two together and you don't speak out, people don't get, the gist of what the hell is going on in America. And I think that this is one of those things that you have to speak about. So I definitely challenge all of the other content creators on YouTube or any other platform to talk about this topic in great detail. So we're gonna break down some things, and I'm hoping that you guys get a gist of not only what is going on, but maybe some ways to combat it where you live at, or whatever case may be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some snippets of what's going on, so you guys kind of get some background on what it is that I'm talking about. The first woman that I'm going to talk about is Tanya McDowell, which was a homeless mother who used her babysitter's address to send her child to an elementary school. She received 12 years in jail for using her babysitter's address for stealing education. So I want y'all to hear this first, and then I'm going to get to the next thing, okay?
The result for us is always much worse. Now, the main example that people are using is a black mother named Tanya McDowell, who basically was a homeless woman who used her babysitter's address to enroll her kids into a better school. And this lady received 5 years in jail for doing this shit, right? And she was homeless at the time. Another article I read
Okay, 5 years. She received 5 years for using her babysitter's address to send her child to elementary school. Now, here's the thing. I want somebody's going to say it was elementary school, but she broke the law. Send her ass to jail. Put her ass away. Lock her down. God damn it. But it's elementary school. Now, no disrespect to the public school system, but what we really doing, we're doing some basic math, some reading, some science, a little history. Nothing, you're not going to become a doctor. You're not in a position, you're not even in a position to drive a car. So my thing about it is no harm, no foul. What's the big uproar about? Why get 5 years? So I want to now step forward to Miss Laura, who now says, I'm a part of this big university scandal, and we're going to hire proctors to now make sure that our kids get into the colleges that they want to go to, which are the top colleges in the United States of America. Now, these children who've now cheated their way into these universities, right, now become the doctors, the lawyers, now are in prominent positions to, guess what, give you health care. Get those type of jobs that decide whether, what life or death type jobs. And they've cheated their way in college. So now I want you guys to hear this in regards to the sentence that she got versus the black woman got. The white lady versus the black lady. I want y'all to hear this.
Pointed out, in like 2011.
And her husband are going to prison. Moments ago, she told the judge she agreed to a plea deal requiring she serve 2 months in prison in the college admission scandal. Her husband was sentenced to 5 months earlier today in the plea deal. The pair admitted to paying $500,000 to get their daughters into the University of Southern California. CNN's crime and justice correspondent Shimon Prokupez and CNN senior legal analyst Laura Coase joins me now. Shimon, when do Loughlin and her husband begin serving their sentences?
So her husband, the court has ordered him to surrender in 90 days. She will likely have the same fate, that she will have to surrender in 90 days. We're waiting to hear. This is still ongoing, so we're waiting to hear from the judge in terms of when he's going to direct her to report to prison. Of course, this is still one of the biggest scandals in this country, one of the biggest investigations here in terms of the cheating scandal, ultimately, in colleges all across the country. Their two kids, their daughters, were entered USC, and as she has admitted to today, they lied and they paid money, $500,000, to get their daughters into the school. Today, she, in an agreement with prosecutors, they have pleaded guilty, and she's expected to serve about 2 months, Anderson.
Lord?
I gotta stop right there. I gotta stop this thing right there. They paid over $500,000 to get their daughter into the school of their choice. I need y'all to hit like on this. I need y'all to share, bring somebody up in here. Let's have the tough conversation. Hey, we talk about everything over here. You know, we talk about everything over here, ladies and gentlemen. 2 months. And what they didn't say, she got to choose the prison that she wanted to go to. Huh? What? She got to choose the prison that she wanted to go to. Hold on, wait a minute, Mario, did you skip something? Yes, you did. Not only did she get to choose the prison she wanted to go to, she got 90 days to turn herself in. God, 90 days? I'm hyping right now. I'm hyping. 90 days? What the fuck? What the? Listen. Come on now. Check this out. Would you rather someone cheat to get their child into an elementary school? I'm just going to use their address. I didn't pay $500,000, right? This school probably ain't even the best school in the district, but hey, I know it's a better school than what I'm accustomed to. I just want to put them in a decent school. So I'm going to use my babysitter's address. This is what the black woman did, who was homeless at the time. We're going to give her 5 years. 5 years. Meek Mill speaks out about it. LeBron James speaks out about it. Okay? What did LeBron say? Let's see what LeBron said. LeBron says, we'll just keep pushing forward and not expecting the handouts. Strong, black, powerful. That's what he says. And normally I'm kind of like, look, celebrities, stay out of our business. Stay out grown folks' business. Stay out grown folks' business. But this is one of them situations, I got to say, Mario, hold on now, pump your brakes. They're using their platform to speak out on a situation that is so transparent. But here's the thing. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy that, you know what, it's not a lot of people in an uproar about it. Just putting those two narratives together, you sent this homeless lady who used her babysitter's address to get her kid into an elementary school. You gave her 5 years in jail. But here it is, this woman and her husband paid $500,000 to get their child into a university, which was a part of this whole big scandal. He said the biggest education scandal in America of the century. $500,000. Now let me ask y'all something. We talk about white privilege, we talk about mass incarceration, we talk about police brutality, we talk about racism. We gotta talk about a tough conversation right now. Because here's the thing, if I'm paying $500,000 to get my child into the school of choice, which are the top elite schools, I'm paying my child to be positioned to stay above the status quo. You know, I'm not going to send her to a HBU, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to send her to an elite school, and we're going to pay the dividends to get my child in. Not that they're smart enough. Now, I want you to think about this. What about all the children, the black children, that go there, and it's like, hey, they have to go the hard way. They have to earn their way in. Can you imagine sitting in class with someone that their parents paid $500,000 for them to get into the school, not because they had the brains, just simply because they had the money? And then can you imagine graduating, both graduating at the same time, and someone saying you, because the color of your skin makes you more qualified for this job, versus the person that cheated their way through college? Because here's the thing, let's be real. Let's be real. If your parents are willing to pay to get you into school, they're not paying. You don't think they're willing to pay to keep you in the school? Let me slow it down. I know I lost somebody because I ain't got no likes on this. If your parents are willing to pay $500,000 to get you in a university that they feel is elite according to America, if you went to Princeton, Harvard, etc., 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 you are now a part of an elite group. We know that my child don't have the brain capacity to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to cheat. We're going to cheat. We're going to say, hey, take the SATs, take whatever test that has to go along with getting you in college. But we're going to buy a proctor. So some people don't know what proctors are. Okay, let me break this down. Let me slow it down. Proctors are people, okay? Normally, if they don't work for the university, you can actually go through certain organizations and they will provide a proctor, which is someone to watch you take an exam. It could be an entrance exam. It could be, an exam just for a particular course or class. Those are proctors. So they find someone that says, hey, I'm a proctor. Okay, you're a proctor. Well, here go $40,000. And regardless of what my child scores on this exam, you make sure that they score high. Now, you didn't have the grades to get into university, right? You didn't have the study habits to get in the university, but you had the money. Somebody would say, Mario, this has nothing to do with white privilege. You a joke, Mario. Are you serious? You're trying to make this racial and it ain't racial. Okay. The majority of the people that got caught in this scandal were white Americans. Hello? Actors, lawyers, doctors. Hello? Wasn't nobody from the projects in this scandal. Tamika and Ray Sean was not in this scandal. But can you imagine these people now saying, okay, well, hey, we're going to pay for our child. We're not even paying for a good education. We're just going to pay to put them in position. Now, every parent is like, hey, I want to put my child in position. I want to give my child, something I never had, or I want them to be a part of the elite. So everybody's like, you know what? Hey, maybe that's not so bad, et cetera, et cetera. And my whole thing about it is if you're willing to buy your entry, if you're willing to buy the entry for your child, you think they're not paying for papers? You think they're not paying professors to say, let my child pass? Now, what happens if you get the child that was paid for, all exams was paid for, entry fee was paid for, and now that's your doctor, and they gotta diagnose you with something? Uh-oh. The hell you mean I got coronavirus? Hell you mean, oh, you mistook in the coronavirus for the regular flu? Hell you mean? Hell you mean I got 3 weeks to live? Oh, you mistaken that for goddamn the gout. I'm just saying, if you think about the situation and you ask yourself, it's like, if you're willing to buy entry into a major university, imagine the cost of saying, I'm going to make sure you graduate. What are we willing to do? Who are we willing to pay? Is it the dean? Is it the professor? Is it another student in the class that's going to help you pass? I'm just saying, the biggest education scandal of the century is what's being reported on CNN. I think LeBron James and Meek Mills are exactly right. You cannot throw a homeless woman in jail, okay, for 5 years for getting her child into a damn elementary school, but yet these people get 2 months, 90 days to turn themselves in, and the choice of prison they want to go to. Bruh, I don't know. Maybe it's not white privilege. I don't know. You tell me what y'all think. You tell me what y'all think. Because these are the tough conversations that you have, but it's so much proof. And the thing about it is there's more people other than the one lady, the homeless lady that went to jail for 5 years. There's more lower class citizens, black citizens that went to jail. But this was something that was highlighted because it's like, how does this lady get scot-free in 2 months? 2 months ain't shit. 2 months ain't shit. So that leads me to another conversation. And this conversation is something that's kind of been floating around the internet, you know what I'm saying? The NFAC, ladies and gentlemen. All right? The Not Fucking Around Coalition is what they are called. All right, some people kind of tailored them to be, you know, the next Black Panther Party. However, they've come out, Grandmaster Jay has come out and said, you know what? No, we're not them. We're not them, we something else. You know what I'm saying? We're something else. And my thing about it is, I did a video on the NFAC, and I was asking, was there a need for the NFAC? Was there a need for them to march? Was there a need for them to be, you know, a black coalition that's heavily armed, that's going and protesting and basically showing the presence that, hey, we are a force to be goddamn reckoned with? And at first I was like, you know, because of course media, the way it twists things, it says Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. But we all know that there are people infiltrated Black Lives Matter in regards to saying, okay, while the protesters are screaming Black Lives Matter on this street, me and my white buddies are gonna go over here and put BLM on some windows, break some windows, burn some shit. We all know that the media has a lot to do with how the perception is being portrayed when it comes to these different organizations. But you know what's so funny? Let me take a sip of this. Here's what's so funny, y'all. When you talk about Black Lives Matter, I've heard on several news stations how Black Lives Matter should be considered a terrorist organization. At the age of 40, right? At the age of 40, I've never heard any news outlet ever considered the KKK to be a part of a terrorist organization. Never. Ever. Being a veteran of the military, I think I probably can see some stuff behind me, but the fact of the matter is, Iraq, Afghanistan, never ever heard of the KKK being considered a terrorist organization. Is that not crazy? Is that not crazy? Because before Black Lives Matter even got started, the KKK was deeply rooted. Do you understand? Deeply rooted throughout the Jim Crow laws, deeply rooted in American politics, and still is. You think all of those Supreme Court justices don't have anything to do with the KKK? You think these politicians who great-grandfather and great-grandmother don't have anything to do with the KKK? You think the military is not infiltrated? Fortune 500 companies are not infiltrated. That's a conversation. But back to the NFAC. So I was thinking, like, do we need a black coalition? Let me read what their write-up is on their page. It says, the Not Fucking Around Coalition is a prior military organization in the United States. It has been described by news outlets as a black militia. While it has been linked to the new Black Panther Party, it has denied any connection to the Black Panther Party or Black Lives Matter movement. Do we need a black militia? Do we need men like Grandmaster Jay running around and saying that there's a problem in America? Well, my thing about it is Grandmaster Jay, the NFAC, versus white privilege. For you to say that there is no such thing as white privilege, for you to say that there is no such thing as people saying, I'm gonna pay $500,000 to get my children in the school that I want them to go to, which is the top elite, so therefore they can sit on a high horse when they graduate and say, I went to Harvard. You know, out of all these scandals and stuff, I never heard anybody say that somebody paid for Obama or Michelle, Obama to go to school. Like, hey, I'm gonna send you to Harvard and we're gonna pay the whole thing. So my whole thing about, if you got black people that are earning their way into these organizations, into these universities or whatever case may be, stay with me, folks. Then why, if you have white Americans getting their way paid for, so I work for it versus somebody paying for it? Because we always talk about, or people like to talk about some black people, they're lazy, they're loud, they're disrespectful, they don't want to work for anything, they like handouts. Well, this is the ultimate handout, folks. This is the ultimate handout. I'm going to pay $500,000 and I'm going to get my son or my daughter into Harvard. And I'm going to let them sit by your child who's earned their way, who's put in the work. And I'm going to allow my child to feel that they have one up on your child. Hey, mom, hey, dad, I'm failing this exam. I might not do as well as I think. Well, let me call the school dean. Hey, dean, I would like to have a meeting. Do you want these donations? Do you still want these donations? Well, you need to fix the grade for my child. Can you imagine what's going on behind the scenes when shit like this happens? And can you imagine your child who's earned their way to one of these top collegiate schools sitting back knowing it full well that Martin, Sean, Michael, Jonathan, Adam, Chris, Patrick did not earn their way into this school, that their parents are buying the teachers? Can you imagine the level of anxiety that is, knowing that you have to study, but the next person don't have to study as hard? And when you go into that interview after graduation, the possibilities of you selling yourself. See, the thing about it is, it's like this. Black people have this notion of, we have to be 10 times better than white people. Stop me when I lie. Come on, talk to me. We gotta be 10 times better. We don't. Let me tell you something. When you talk to your children as a black man or your woman, do you not tell them, make sure you study? Make sure you learn that math. Make sure you pay attention to class, because we understand that there is a bigger agenda. We understand that, hey, we've been through some shit and you're up against something that's like, whoa, it's a monster. Here's my thing though. People would say, it's equal opportunity when it comes to education, when it comes to knowledge, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I believe it to a certain extent, because this proves, this scandal, this education scandal proves that obviously we may have access to a university if we have the right grades. But regardless if a person has the right grades, depending on their skin color and who their parents are, they're gonna pay their way. So whether it's generational wealth, whether it's wealth that was gained in this century, whatever the case may be, we're gonna pay their way. How are those children equal to your children who earn their way? Come on, America, talk to me. This OliviaJade, this tough love, let's have a conversation. How are they equal to your children who earned their way? So now what happens? All of these children, here's the thing. It was a lot of people involved in this scandal. It was a lot of families involved in this scandal. But can you imagine once their parents get identified, because a lot of people have got identified, right? Can you imagine the embarrassment on the child? And can you imagine being the black male or black female that goes to school with their kids and their parents are all in this damn courtroom getting charged with some bullshit? Can you imagine saying, you used to talk shit to me. You used to act like you was better than me. So all of the studying and shit that I was doing while you was out partying at the fraternity, partying at the sorority, saying, hey, life is so grand. All those papers you should have been writing. All the times I was sweating bullets and had to go out here and work another job because, hey, I had to really pay for this school. Can you imagine the emotional stress on that person? Can you imagine that? And then us as parents, of course, we're calling our kids, hey, baby, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. Everything's straight. When they really want to say, it's some fuck shit going on here, Mom. It is some fuck shit going on here, Dad. But they don't want to worry you. Can you imagine what your children are going through in these universities? And are these universities actually teaching your children how to be successful, how to be entrepreneurs, or are they teaching them to go work for somebody else? Y'all don't hear me. Huh? Y'all don't hear me. Somebody said you need to work hard to get them degrees. Okay, cool. It's people with degrees that don't got jobs. It's people with degrees that, you know what I'm saying, they don't have no real they don't have no real common sense. So, hey, what are these colleges? What do you guys think these colleges are teaching our children to do? Let's go deep in this conversation. What do you think that these universities are preparing our children for? Is it life? Is it professional relationships, personal relationships? Is it building wealth? Is it exercising free thought? Is it using free speech to actually maximize our success? Somebody talk to me. Because when you think about the not fucking around coalition, you say, yeah, we don't need that. That's a little bit too much or whatever. My whole thing about it is, I'm going to be honest with you. Somebody says, Dad, you can't get rich working for someone else. I totally agree. I totally agree. Entrepreneurship is the way to go, folks. I don't want to work for nobody. I'm just being real with you. Okay? You know, I'd rather work for myself, you know, pay myself. But the fact of the matter is, it's like this, you know, you spend all of this money going to college. For those of us that have went to college, you know, we got it, we understand, kudos. But the fact of the matter is, now in this generation, you send your children to college. And the question is, what are they learning? You know what I mean? A bunch of hard-ass math equations. A bunch of hard-ass math equations, a bunch of conversations, a bunch of things that say, you know what, this is what makes America great, folks. But then when you get down to it, you start finding out what the hell Columbus did, what they were doing to slaves, molesting them, maiming them, separating them from their families. Stripping them of their identity, not only black, but also Indians. You know, we talk about make America great again. My thing about it is, maybe we just need to talk about making it great, period. Not again. Because when you say again, you're making it great again for who? For black people? For Indian people? Didn't they just change the name of the Washington Redskins? Huh? You making it great for who again? Let me tell y'all something, man. You know what? You talk about racism, you talk about white privilege or whatever the case be, you know, being someone that was in the military or whatever the case be, I can tell you full well, and I'm going to actually do a segment on racism in the military. But I can tell you that racism is alive and well in the military. Stay with me, hold on. there are some phenomenal people of all different races in the military. And I am so happy that I was a part of that melting pot and I was a part of that core structure, where I was my brother's keeper. You know what I'm saying? My brothers and sisters in arms, and we did what we needed to do to get the job done. So salute to them. However, in any organization, you have weak links. You have toxic, you have narcissistic, you have all of these things that create a bad taste and a bad experience. And I can tell you, just because you feel that we wear the same uniform, whether you're a policeman, whether you're a military member, whether you're a fireman, whatever your organization is, there is always going to be some type of foul play when you have humans involved. There's always going to be some type of privilege when you have humans involved. Some people said, I don't think that police officers who are not from an urban community should police a urban community because they wouldn't understand certain things. What y'all think about that? I don't think police officers that are not from an urban community, right, should police our urban community. Can you imagine Ben? Can you imagine Ben, who's never been to an urban community, only seen Boys the Hood, only seen Juice, only seen New Jersey Drive? Now I'm a police officer, Mom, and now I'm going to go and I'm going to police up this neighborhood. And every black person I see, every black male that I see is a suspect, Mom. And my badge tells me I have the right to tell them whatever I want to tell them, to do whatever I want, and how dare they talk back. What? You ain't using your freedom of speech on me. I know you pay my taxes. Can you imagine that? These are questions that we have to have. These are tough conversations that we have to have to promote a narrative that we talk about the tough shit. And we provide solutions to the tough shit. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you rocking with me. I'm hoping that I said something that resonates and marinates. Okay? Until next time, Adult Up, this is Mario J. This is Tough Love. I would love to hear feedback from you guys. I'm going to try to see real quick if I can scroll back and answer some questions. Let me see if I can do this real quick. I live in a predominantly black urban community, and the police officers here just as tainted. Definitely, I hear you. I don't think it's about police officers, like black police officers versus white police officers. I'm just saying, should police officers with no training in regards to an urban community, versus a suburb community, the heartbeat is different. It's a different energy. It's a different energy. You're going to get your block parties. You're going to get your barbecues. You're going to get, maybe the fire hydrants open, so kids can go play in the water. You're going to get a different feeling. You're going to get people dancing in the street. You're going to get streets blocked off. It's a different feeling, a different heartbeat. So my thing about it is, if you've never experienced that and you really don't understand the functionalities of that, can you go successfully police or render aid to that particular neighborhood or whatever? I think that there is a certain amount of training that should be rendered. And when you have people like the NFAC, I'm hoping that it's not just to defend, or to show force and cause towards white America. I'm hoping that, hey, they actually defend and show cause and force to black America as well. Shout out to East Cleveland. I'm hoping that, this militia is to say, we're trying to cause change. We're trying to promote change. It's not just about protesting and showing we got big ass guns. Fuck everybody. Everybody got guns. The fact of the matter is, it's one of those situations where, what are you doing to promote change versus this white privilege? Because it's real. It is real, and for those people that don't believe it's real, I want you to not only check the news that you listen to, but check other aspects, other media outlets as well. And that's what I try to do, to try to get a balanced perception of what the hell is really going on. And I think that the fact that you give a homeless woman 5 years in jail for trying to get her child into an elementary school versus a white woman who gets 2 months, 90 days to turn herself in, and the choice of jail she wants to go to. I think that's bullshit. This is Mario J. It's tough love. Till next time, my daughter. Peace.